Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. The Viking here, of course. And yes, on the 20th of December was the Deck the Hall with Justice live stream event, which was a big success. And that was held because we wanted to reach the 500,000 goal for AFSP in raising money. And we did that, and that's what it was all about for the Autumn Snyder Fund. And we reached it, which turned out to be a really great day. But there was so many streams going on. There was the international streams going on. There was the North American streams going on. I was a part of the international panels. Of course, my other movie show, the Movie Buffs podcast, we had Zack Snyder on. Zack Snyder was also on the John Doe channel as well. He was on Day of the Film Junkie with Chris Swan. Deborah Snyder was on Lightcast Pod. Yeah, so many people showed up. Ray Fisher, of course, on the Poindexter Lounge. So it turned into be a great day for the fandom. We raised money. We talked about movies. And you know what? When you're doing those kind of things, it can't be a bad day. So I wanted to go through some of the stuff that Zack Snyder talked about on some of those streams. And of course, what Ray Fisher talked about. And also some things that Patty Jenkins has said the last few days, along with Gal Gadot, about the Wonder Woman universe. So the first thing I want to get into, guys, is Zack Snyder was talking about the Ben Affleck Batman film, the Deathstroke movie that we all want to see. Now, Joe Manganiello for months has been leaving hints about this movie, saying it's very similar to David Fincher's movie The Game. It takes similarities to those kind of things, and that got everyone even more hyped. Of course, Joe Manganiello, he's in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He went back, he did additional photography, he had the mohawk, so he definitely would love to come back to the character. And he's talked kind of in a disappointed way about what his Deathstroke would have been, not only in the Batman movie, but also that Deathstroke movie that they were working on. So Zack Snyder commented on that Batman film with Ben Affleck, and this is what he had to say. Look, I would love for Ben to make that Deathstroke movie. That would be amazing. I don't know that he's going to or that they want him to, but I would love for him to do it. That would be so cool, and Joe is amazing. So Zack Snyder not giving away any kind of hints there. So he's saying he would love to see it, like all of us, but he doesn't know more than that. But he also could be lying as well. He might know things that are going on. Of course, Ben Affleck came back for the addition of photography, and Zack said it was cool to see him back in the cape, and he didn't miss a beat. So guys, you never know how Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be received. You never know the popularity that could come out of this. You never know the roar there could be for Ben Affleck to come back. And Ben Affleck might see that and he might come back. And look, DC is different now. The whole ownership is different. He might get a lot more freedom on a HBO Max property if it was a show or if it was a movie. Imagine an 8-part series of Batfleck. It would be ridiculous to see that, or even just a movie, or even just 2 or 3 episodes, something more that has Ben Affleck's Batman in it. We are all in for that. And for him to do his original script, the one that Jay Olivia said is the best script he'd ever written or ever read, got to do with a Batman script, and Joe Manganiello has nothing but praise for that script as well. That would be pretty awesome. But guys, I would say when Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out, tweet about Ben Affleck's Batman, get it trending, get the discussion going, and I'm sure it will in its own right as well. But you just never know when there's so much buzz behind a thing, and HBO Max could just say, hey Ben, how much money do you want? And Ben would end up doing it. Also, another thing that Zack Snyder talked about, of course, was the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. Now this, I think, is going to happen, and I think the reason it will happen is because of Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder is going to push for this movie to get released. I think it will. It won't be before Zack Snyder's Justice League. It will be sometime after. And I think HBO Max would definitely greenlit it because they need more properties for their service. And it would be awesome to sit down and watch a director's cut of the Suicide Squad, which was a successful movie, which made loads of money, which it won an Oscar for makeup. Didn't they get like a platinum or something for music as well? So that movie was actually ridiculously successful. Whatever you say about it, I don't care what you say, it was a successful movie. But Zack Snyder was asked on the John Doe Reviews live stream, that's another one Zack popped up to, he goes, I haven't talked to David about it, but I'm sure I will. I know him quite well. I've just been swamped, because of COVID, but it's on my list of things to talk to him about. Like, I support any filmmaker who needs to get their version of their movie or their vision sort of seen, because I've had, such a generous support. So I really would hope that other people would get that same thing. So Zack Snyder definitely wants to see the Ayer cut along with all of us, and I think it will happen. Now, of course, he has taken characters from David Ayer's movie, Jared Leto's Joker, will appear in Zack Snyder's Justice League in March. He was at the additional photography. Zack Snyder talked about how he called him up. He had this big idea. He's had this idea for a very long time, and Jared Leto agreed, and he came down and did it. So that's pretty cool that Jared Leto accepted, and it must be a pretty cool role if Jared Leto did accept it. And also Zack Snyder has said himself, you can mute it for a few seconds if you don't want to know what happened in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but Zack Snyder has said that Joker is the one who gets a mother box. He gets a mother box so Cyborg can study it and understand what's going on and maybe bring flashback in time and stuff like that. So Joker is definitely one of the Justice League in Zack Snyder's Justice League in the Nightmare timeline. He is helping them defeat Darkseid, evil Superman, and whatever else kind of villains are there as well. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool sequence, and I can't wait to see that. And I'm sure there's going to be more. And then Jared Leto's Joker has a new look as well, which is pretty interesting. We haven't seen it yet, but it's supposed to be one of the best and most unique Joker looks of all time. So that's going to be pretty awesome, guys, to see all that stuff on the big screen or wherever we get to see it. It doesn't really matter at this stage. I just want to see it. But Joker helping the League get a mother box or to study a mother box, pretty badass. And I think the air cut will definitely happen. And I think there will even be more cry out for the air cut once we see Jared Leto's Joker and probably how great he is in the Snyder Cut. Now, guys, let's move on to Ray Fisher. So Ray Fisher was on the Poindexter Lounge live stream. Pretty good channel. Go check it out. He was on that for a good 2 hours, I think, or maybe an hour and a half. I was trying to get ready for my own stream as well, so I couldn't catch all of it. But he said something very interesting about Josh Whedon and Age of Ultron. Now, Ray Fisher didn't go into exactly what kind of bad things Josh Whedon did in terms of the abuse on set. He was talking more of a kind of a business standpoint, more of a working standpoint. And this is what he had to say about Josh Whedon. One of the things that I will say so far is our experience in the creation of this. Josh brought a lot of his personal and professional, for lack of a better term, resentment into the Justice League process. One of the things that he had said in our first conversation was that people didn't quite get Age of Ultron. And there were certain things being said in that conversation where I was like, oh, this is less about the work being presented and more sort of like an ego stroke to say, well, look, if you like it in this movie, you should have liked it in that one. Haha, joke's on you. And that's just creatively, that has nothing to do with any of the really in Gregor's stuff. That's just on a creative level. It shows, you know. So that's pretty interesting that Josh Whedon took some resentment from his days as a Marvel director doing the Avenger movies, and especially Age of Ultron. Now, if you go to my channel, if you look at one of the most popular videos on this channel, I kind of do scenes where Josh Whedon took from the Avengers and put them in Justice League. And one of them, of course, is that boob scene with Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow where the Hulk lands on top of her chest. Also, Ezra Miller's Flash lands on Gal Gadot's chest, but that wasn't Gal Gadot, that was a stunt double who wouldn't do that scene. Those scenes are very similar, and if you look at even the first Avengers movie, when the Avengers are kind of going up against each other, they're kind of having a verbal fight. It's very similar to the verbal fight that we see in Justice League, where Bruce Wayne brings up Steve Trevor and kind of annoys Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman about that, and the two of them kind of she kind of pushes him back. You know, those scenes are very similar. I'm sure there is more, but I haven't really gone into detail on that Justice League movie. And this is also what he had to say. And that's part of the reason why I say that we inherited Josh Whedon. We inherited the problem of Josh Whedon. I'm sure he has a lot to deal with. Hopefully he deals with it in a healthy way and will make good on any sort of apologies that he may need to put out there. So Ray Fisher is looking for an apology of Josh Whedon, and if he wants to put it out there, I'm sure it will be accepted. But he needs to accept what he did on set, and it looks like him being pushed off 2 projects, which I have talked about, just shows that he must have done something pretty bad if he was pushed off. But he brought a lot of resentment from his Avenger days onto the DC set and was kind of showing people, well, if you liked it there, you should like it here. If you didn't like it there, well, you're going to like it now, those kind of things, you know. And that's probably where the problem lied with that film entirely. And hopefully we get to see, actually, why should I say hopefully, we will get to see the better version of that movie in March. Now, Patty Jenkins, of course, is doing her press tour for Wonder Woman 1984 right now. Of course, virtually. There's no going out to theatres in some locations, and even if there was, I don't think the actors or directors would be on those kind of locations either. But I got to see it in theatres, which was pretty great. I got to see it twice already. Some people have to wait till Christmas Day. Some people have to wait until they can get it on digital and rent it and buy it and watch it on their TV at home. But either way, you get to see it. But Patty Jenkins talked about a certain kind of thing that happened on Wonder Woman. And look, the thing with Wonder Woman is it's a pretty good movie, but a lot of complaints were about that final act, the big CGI fight between Wonder Woman and Ares. People have said that was the weakest point of the movie. It was a very grounded movie right up until then, and then it turned very comic book-esque. And look, I like it. It's okay. It doesn't bother me too much, but it's okay. Patty Jenkins said that wasn't her original ending. So this is from comicbook.com. Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins says the studio Warner Brothers made her change the film's original ending at the last minute, pushing for a larger scale superhero battle between the two characters, of course, Gal Gadot and Ares. So David Twell's character, he was pretty good in the role. I wish they did kind of more with him though. So this is what Patty said. The original ending of the first movie was also smaller, but the studio made me change it at the last minute. So that's always been a little bit of a bummer. That's the one thing people talk about, because I agreed. And I told the studio we didn't have the time to do it. But it is what it was, and I ended up loving it. But that was not the original ending of the movie. And I will say, I won't spoil it, but the ending for Wonder Woman 84 is small scale. It's a lot smaller than the first Wonder Woman or Batman v Superman or a Man of Steel. It's a smaller kind of ending. It sticks with you as a very emotional ending, but it is smaller scale. It's more kind of a metaphorical ending, kind of that kind of thing. But yeah, they made her go back and change it. So it shows that Warner Brothers was still messing, still effing with those movies back then. And even though Wonder Woman was a hit, that wasn't Patty Jenkins' ending. That's not what she wanted to do with the character. That's not what she wanted for the role of Wonder Woman. And the ending was going to be a lot different. Now, I don't know what it would have been. Maybe we'll find out in a few more interviews that she does. But it just shows you that Warner Brothers was still messing with the movies. So they messed with Batman v Superman. They cut 30 minutes out. They messed with David Ayer's Suicide Squad. They made him go back and practically reshoot a lot of things. And they effed with the ending of Wonder Woman. And then they went and made Justice League a mess. You know, so it's ridiculous to think that. And then we have had Cathy Yan, of course, the director of Birds of Prey, talking about how her movie was kind of altered in certain ways also. So Warner Brothers just keep messing with their directors' visions, and hopefully it's a new change now. Hopefully movies like The Suicide Squad, you know, the Suicide Squad 1 with James Gunn, I'm sure it's going to be a great movie, and he probably got a lot of leeway because he is a billion-dollar director, but I even saw rumours that he was getting problems from the set of Warner Brothers as well. So it is kind of interesting how those kind of things happen, and how Warner Brothers are still messing with their directors' visions with these comic book movies. I just found that very, very interesting. But the ending for Wonder Woman 84 is smaller scale, but I actually preferred it over the Wonder Woman 1 ending. Of course, Gal Gadot is out doing her interview rounds as well, and yeah, she's just very bright to look at in interviews and stuff like that. Some really great set stories, and she's just a very good person. And also, as Wonder Woman, she is that character, and she does an amazing job in Wonder Woman 1984. But she was asked about Zack Snyder's Justice League. She was asked about the additional photography and was she involved in any way. And this is what Gal had to say: "I didn't shoot anything, I didn't see anything, and I'm very much looking forward to watching Zack's cut. You know, in this world now, I'm not surprised by anything. I'm not surprised by anything, but I'm very happy he got to do his version of the movie." So she wasn't involved in the additional photography. Maybe she didn't have time. She was also doing that movie with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. I think it's called Red Notice. That's for Netflix. So she was probably busy doing that. And with COVID, she wasn't able to fly back and forth. And then the Red Notice movie was also delayed as well. So that was her main priority. So she wasn't involved in the additional photography. But if it is the nightmare timeline that they were doing with Zack Snyder for the additional photography, then I don't think they needed Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman anyway, because she kind of, she just doesn't really, let's just say she doesn't make it that far. But she didn't shoot anything, she wasn't a part of it, but she's looking forward to watching it. She hasn't seen it yet, and of course, as always, she's very happy for Zack Snyder to get his vision finished. Now, Zack Snyder was also talking about when we will see the next trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, the first trailer, I loved it, the Hallelujah, the black and white version, I loved it all. But he was talking with the Film Junkie and Chris Wan about the next look at the movie. And this is what he had to say. Very early in the new year, we want to let Wonder Woman have its run. Everybody's got to get out and see Wonder Woman and just love it because it's amazing. I'm just super proud. But then probably in the new year, we're going to have a hard announcement of a date, a hard date, and a cool announcement or little activation. I don't know exactly. I have an idea of what it might be. So it's going to be cool. Maybe something you don't expect. So that's fun. And then after that, you can expect probably another big trailer coming soon after that. And then whatever cool activations we have, advertising and whatever. So it's going to be pretty crazy and pretty Justice League centric coming up in the next few months. So yeah, let Wonder Woman have its run. Let it have its marketing. Let it have its promotion. Let it get people out to theaters or watch it at home. Get them talking about it. Let it make as much money as it can. Get the buzz going for Wonder Woman 1984. So when it's had its run, when it's kind of over and the buzz is kind of gone, then the marketing campaign will kick in for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that gives around 3 months, 11, 12 weeks, maybe a little longer. It could come out at the end of March for a marketing campaign to start. And Zack Snyder said before in an interview, could have even been on the Film Junkies channel, that HBO have a lot of cool things planned for the fan base. So that's going to be awesome as well. So a lot of interaction with us. Of course, we're the ones that made this film come out, made it happen. So of course, they're going to bring us into the marketing as much as they can. But it's cool that you use the word activation there. It's like we're trying to get to a next level of a game or something, activation. But yeah, new trailer in the new year. It should be maybe at the end of January. Posters. We're officially even hinted at some toys as well, action figures. I could see a big promotions going on, maybe even with Subway, because Subway were very active, of course, talking about the Snyder Cut. So it would be cool if they brought something in with those. Maybe mini theatrical runs. It's going to be cool. The buzz is going to be unbelievable. And the engagement with the fan base and Zack Snyder, I'm sure he's said he's going to come on more streams. He even said he might come back on the Movie Buffs podcast as well. He'll be back on Dave the Film Junkie. He'll be on Chris Wan's, League of Mayhem. All those kind of shows, those streaming shows, he'll definitely pop back onto those, because I even think he had a dig at some of the journalists asking stupid questions like, oh, how much did Ben Affleck work out for this movie or stuff like this? And Zack Snyder's like, oh yeah, we worked him really hard, like just boring questions like that. He likes doing the questions with the fan base and just having some fun and just chilling. And when he was on our stream, it was just laid back. It was a conversation. We talked about zombie genre, we talked about The Shining, we talked about Wonder Woman 84, so that was pretty cool. And he just laid back and he makes it very comfortable when you're talking to him, which I thought was pretty cool. But then he was talking about how the Snyderverse might continue. And many people want Justice League 2, 3, 4. We want that 5-story arc. We'd love a Batfleck spin-off, Ray Fisher, Cyborg, all that kind of stuff. But this is what he talked about, what is in the works right now. I don't think anything is going to happen right away. But Jim Lee and I talk quite a bit. And we talked a lot about maybe doing a book or a comic book down the road just to kind of finish this. We haven't locked anything in. But if it's a thing that would be interesting to the fandom, they can always ask Jim about it. So I think we will get loads of spin-offs. I think Justice League 2 and Justice League 3 is a big possibility, but it won't happen for a few years because, of course, you have to shoot the whole thing and just to look how long it took to do Batman v Superman, stuff like that, okay? Could we see a graphic novel? That'd be cool. And Jim Lee doing it? Awesome. A comic book run of 20 years in Gotham or of the Kryptonians or something like that would be awesome. It would be pretty cool, don't you think? So if we don't get live action stuff, okay, I'll take animated stuff or I'll take graphic novel stuff, but I would love to see it live action. But if this is part of the Snyderverse, if this is the only way to finish it, then look, that's the way it is. But let's see how successful Justice League is when it comes out, and hopefully it greens it a live action 2 and 3, but then we can still have spin-offs and comic books, which would be pretty awesome, guys. Beggars can't be choosers. We wanted the Snyder Cut for so long. We're now getting it 4 hours plus of content of a movie, which is absolutely amazing. So if it continues in comic form, that's okay. I'll take that as well. But yeah, let's just enjoy this ride for the next few months. And also, Ray Fisher was talking about we will get to see the 4-armed Cyborg. So is that in the Nightmare timeline? We will get to see that in the movie. the four-armed Cyborg, which is going to be pretty awesome. So I wonder, does that happen during the fight with Superman, or does that happen in the Nightmare timeline? We got to see kind of concept art of it before, and it was pretty awesome. So that's another cool thing that Ray Fisher dropped, and I can't wait to see that four-armed Cyborg. Also, Zack Snyder on Dave the Film Junkie show released theme music from the movie of a certain character. Now, it looked like it was from Batman. People thought it was Steppenwolf, but it sounds like a theme from Junkie XL that is for Batman, because if you look very closely, when Zack Snyder plays it on his phone, the image that's kind of moving is Ben Affleck's Batman, or the video that's kind of moving is Ben Affleck's Batman. So maybe it's a team for Ben Affleck's Batman while he's taking down some parademons, or he's fighting some bad guys or something like that. I don't know, but guys, go check that out on Dave's channel. It's a pretty cool soundtrack or theme, whatever it's going to be, and that score is going to be amazing. Man, I can't wait for that. I wonder, has Junkie XL added more stuff to it? You know, of course, he was booted off it, and Danny Elfman was brought in. So I wonder, has he kind of reevaluated himself in terms of what he would do with the story that's going on the big screen with his music? So I can't wait to hear all that stuff, and that's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah, so there's pretty much all the kind of DC kind of Snyder cut related Snyderverse news that I kind of got off the last few days. Wonder Woman's a part of that as well, of course, same actress that plays the character in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I brought all that into this video, guys. I think I got everything. If I missed a few points, let me know in the comments below. But I think that was pretty much most of the big topics that were talked about with the streams that took place on the 20th of December. As I said, great day, great interaction between all the fan base, engagement, popping onto streams. Absolutely loved it. Loved watching it. Zack Snyder, Deborah Snyder, Ray Fisher popping onto the streams as well. That was great as well. You know, awesome stuff. Can't thank them enough for doing that. And of course, they came on the Movie Buffs podcast as well. And yeah, just as I said, wow, I couldn't believe that Zack Snyder, we didn't know last second he was coming on. I didn't know for a few minutes beforehand. Lewis didn't know whatsoever. So the reaction there was pretty funny. But it was awesome to have Zack Snyder on the channel. And just talk to him was pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing the movie in 2021. And hopefully we try and get it on a big screen over here in Ireland in some capacity. Hopefully, wherever can hold that IMAX screen of Zack Snyder's Justice League. But anyway, that's for a few months away, and we're all looking forward to it, of course. But guys, let me know what got you most excited from all this kind of news that came out the last few days. What did you like about the streams yourself? What did you think was pretty interesting? What really got you thinking, oh my god, was it the team song? Was it Ray Fisher saying his character was going to have 4 arms? Is it the possibilities of action figures? They would be pretty cool. Maybe hot toys of Zack Snyder's Justice League would be absolutely awesome. And would you be happy with animated form or comic book form of the Snyder Cut coming out in some capacity in the future? And of course, the next trailer isn't too far away, guys. But guys, like, comment, subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe so you can get all this kind of Snyder Cut DC related news. And if you are a subscriber, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you stopping by, watching my videos, engaging with me as much as you do. It's a great community of people. And guys, have fun, do something that makes you happy, and I'll talk to you next time.